Good morning, everyone. My name is Cecilia, and I am a student from Solidio Graduate School, and I am grade 9. And today I want to do my practical test biology, and I want to present about human reproductive organs and genetics. And I am from Streptococcus SB group. So, today our learning objectives are the first, human reproductive system, the second one is human reproductive organs, the third one is genetic, and the fourth one or the last is genetics type. The first one, human reproductive system. So, the definitions. The human reproductive system is an organ system that has the responsibility to produce offspring through the role of internal and external organs, hormones, and fluids in the body of each gender. And human genders are divided into two, namely male and female. And this is the picture of male reproductive organs. The first one, testes or testicles. This one is testis or testicle. Testicle is to produce sperm and testosterone. And epididymis. Epididymis to stores and mature sperm. And vas deferens. This one is vas deferens, the long one. Vas deferens carries sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct, from this to this. And seminal vesicle to produce fluid that is part of semen, and protest gland to produce fluid that is part of semen. What is the difference? Seminal vesicles is the main part, while protest gland is not the main part. And then ureta. Ureta is transports urine and semen, and penis, the organ that delivers sperm into the female reproductive tract during sexual intercourse. And pelvic bone, this one, wage transfer, pelvic stability and protections of internal organs. And rectum, this one, act as a temporary storage area for phases before defecation. And ejaculatory duct transports sperm and seminal fluids from the vas deferens, from this, and seminal vesicle into the ureta, to this. And scrotum, to this one, to protect the testicles and regulate their temperature for optimal sperm production. And this is the pictures of female reproductive organs. Ovaries. Ovaries is to produce eggs and female hormones, or estrogen and progesterone. And oviduct or fallopian tube to carry the egg from the ovary to the uterus and is where fertilization usually happens. Ovarian ligament to support the ovary and uterus within the pelvis. And uterus where a fertilized egg implants and grows during pregnancy. And endometrium, the lining of the uterus that thickens for potential pregnancy and shades during the menstruations. And cervix, the lower narrow end of the uterus that opens into the vagina. And vagina connects the uterus and cervix to the outside of the body, used to intercourse and childbirth, while membrane cage the egg that one of your ovaries releases during ovulation. And when every girl turns into a woman, they will through menstruations. We choose 5 menstrual phase. The first one, uterine shedding. The thick lining of the uterus that has been prepared for pregnancy is shed because fertilization doesn't occur. And the second one is there is bleeding. Bleeding menstrual blood comes from the shedding of the uterine lining, uterine vessels, and mucus. And the third, symptoms. When women may experience abdominal cramps, back pain, mood swings, and changes in appetite, headaches, or other symptoms. And the fourth, hormonal changes. The hormones estrogen and progesterone decrease during the phase, which causes the shedding of the uterine lining. And the fifth or the last effect and ovulations. If fertilization doesn't occur, the luteal phase will end and a new follicular phase will begin with the release of a new egg. And disease and how to maintain the reproductive system. So I chose 5 diseases of the reproductive organs. The first one is HIV. HIV is a virus that attacks the body's immune system. And syphilis is a bacterial infection that can cause serious health problems if left untreated. And cervical cancer is a type of cancer that occurs in the cervix, often caused by human papillomavirus infections. And the fourth, endometriosis. Endometriosis is a condition where the tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside the uterus and causing pain and discomfort. And the fifth or the last, prostatitis is inflammation of prostate gland, which can cause pain, difficulty urinating, and other symptoms. And how to protect our reproductive organs. The first one is maintain intimate organ hygiene. And the second one is avoid casual sex and use condoms. And the third one, avoid smoking and alcohol. And the fourth, eat nutritious food and drink enough water. And the fifth one, exercise regularly and avoid excessive stress. And that's all for human reproductive organs. Now let's move to genetics. So, in our body, we have cells. Cells is the smallest unit in our body. Inside the cells, there is nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there is chromosome. And inside the chromosome, there is DNA. And DNA are recalled with gene. What are genes? Genes are small units of information inside our cells that contain instructions for how our body develops and functions. They code for traits like our eye color, hair color, and our age. This is nucleus. And where do our genes live? Genes are segments of DNA located on structures called chromosomes. This is the picture of chromosomes. Chromosomes are long, thread-like structures made up of DNA and proteins. They carry many genes and are found inside the nucleus of our cells, and there are 46 chromosomes in humans. What is DNA? DNA is a molecule that carries genetic information in living organisms. It looks like a twisted ladder or double helix and is found inside the nucleus of our cells. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. And what is RNA? RNA is a copy or a transcription of DNA. This is the picture of DNA and RNA. This is DNA and this is RNA. RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. So the differences between DNA and RNA. The differences in nucleotides. In DNA there are adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. While in RNA there are adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil. And now the numbers of chains in DNA there are 2, while the numbers of chains in RNA there is 1. The location DNA mostly in the nucleus or nucleoid, but also in mitochondria, while RNA mainly in the cytoplasm. And the composition DNA is from deoxyribose, and for RNA is ribose. And the shape DNA is storing genetic information, while RNA transform and transport proteins. And why do we need genes? We need genes because they contain the instructions for building and maintaining our bodies. They also play a crucial role in passing traits from parent to children through reproduction. So have you ever imagine that why our characteristic is similar like our parents. It's because our parents' genes is moved to our genes. That's why our characteristics is like our parents' characteristics. And let's move to the law of inheritance. Mendel's law of inheritance explains how traits are passed from parent to offspring or child and consists of two main laws. The first Mendel's law is the law of segregation, and the second Mendel's law, the law of independent assortment. This is the founder of Mendel's law, Gregor Johann Mendel, and that's why the law is taken. That's why the law is named. That's why the law named with Mendel because it's taken from his name. And this is the source of Mendel's law. The first Mendel's law in the formation of gamete cells, allele pairs of same gene will separate separately, and the second Mendel's law in the presence of two or more traits, the inheritance of these traits will occur independently, meaning that one trait will not affect the inheritance of the other traits. And monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross is a cross between two individuals but with one different trait. And there are two genes. The first is dominant genes and the second one is recessive genes. Dominant genes is trait that covers another trait and recessive gene is covered trait. We also use dominant with the capital letter, while recessive used with the smallest letter. This is the table of monohybrid cross. And let's go to dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross is a cross between two individuals but with two different traits. And there are two conditions in dihybrid cross and monohybrid. The first is homozygote. Homozygous is the condition in which an individual has two identical alleles for a particular gene, while heterozygote conditions is condition in which an individual has two different alleles for a particular gene, one dominant and one recessive. This is the table of dihybrid cross. And inheritance of traits. Inheritance of traits, also known as heredity, is the process of passing traits from parents to their offspring. Inheritance describes how certain characteristics such as eye color, age, or a tendency to disease can be passed from one generation to the next. Genes act as units of genetic information that control these characteristics. The process of inheritance of living creatures. All living creatures that mate and reproduce will go through the process of fusion of sperm cells or male cells with the egg cells or female cells. Egg cells and sperm cells each carry their own genes or chromosome. The result of this fusion is called with a zygote. The zygote that is formed contains a combination of genes and chromosomes from the parent. This explains how the characteristic and physicality of the parent can be inherited of their offspring or their children. That's why our characteristic is similar like our parents' characteristic. And the types of chromosome and their role in inheritance of traits. Chromosomes are structures shaped like a collection of fine traits that functions as carriers of genetic information from parents to their offspring, consisting of nucleic acids, namely DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and proteins. Types of inheritance. Inherited traits include a variety of physical and behavioral characteristics. Physical genetic, there are 6 that I choose in these presentations. The first one is eye color, the second one is age, the third one is skin color, the fourth one is face shape, and the fifth one is hair shape, and the sixth one is earlobe type. And inherited disorders. Inherited disorders, the first one is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic disorder that affects hemoglobin productions, causing red blood cells to be misshapen and break down. And hemophilia is a bleeding disorder that impairs the body's ability to clot blood properly. And the third, thalassemia. Thalassemia is a genetic disorder that affects hemoglobin productions, leading to anemia and other complications. And the fourth or the last, color blindness, is a condition where a person has difficulty perceiving certain colors, often inherited and affecting red and green color distinction. And the conclusion from this presentation, we can conclude that we should take care of our reproductive organs and can learn more about our genetics. Overall, understanding the reproductive system and genetics helps us appreciate the complexity of human development and the continuity of life. And that's all from me. I'm Cecilia from Grade 9. I want to say thank you, and I'm very sorry if I have the mistaken words of my pronunciation. That's all from me. Thank you.